Welcome back, gang. It's Delty from DeltyIsGaming.com, and y'all wanted more Pimp My Builds. So I was streaming yesterday, and we did an impromptu Pimp My Build with a friend of mine that recently just came back to the game named Ziggy. So she's playing a Magicka Dragonknight, has no clue on the rotation, skills, gear, or anything. So what we're going to do is kind of train her on my Laceration build, start out with an easier rotation, and then work our way up, explaining a bunch of different principles that might be useful for you. Weaving, animation canceling, the appropriate skills, buff rotation that you should do, and then how to actually amplify your damage with damage over time effects, and making the complex rotations a little simpler. So if you're interested in, like, how these training things go, or if it was effective and might learn something, hey, watch this video. All right, so priority number one is your elemental blockade. We're not going to talk about gear, blah blah blah, because you can get that later. Burning Spell Weave, no brainer. Inferno, Moon Dancer, Grothar, blah blah blah. I don't have that on, but just so you understand, Blockade primarily with a VMA staff. Then you bar swap to your extra set bonus with Moon Dancers or Inferno, and then that would be your main spammable attack bar. So you want to make it easy. You put on your front bar because I assume you don't have a VMA staff.
No.
Okay. So an easier way to do it would be putting all your dots on your front bar, pretty much, would be the easy way. Then your main spammable AoE attack would be on your back bar with Harness Magic for protection. That's easy to do that. So
okay.
let's do that. So we got Blockade, primary dot. You got Engulfing Flames. You're going to want to hit this first or second to get the damage of flame attacks increased. You're going to want to hit Burning Embers. And then you're going to go into Molten Whip spam. So you're doing Molten Whip in between applying your dots. Remember that good DKs are not sitting there doing Molten Whips over and over and over. Good DKs are basically applying a shit ton of dots. So these three are the basics. Blockade, Engulfing, Embers. Very basic. The not so basic stuff is Flames of Oblivion. You cast it, 15-second dot, you bar swap, and it can still proc on your front bar. Another addition, Eruption. It lasts a really long time, costs a ton of magic, it's ranged, but it does a lot of damage over time, single target and AoE. So taking the time to bar swap back and casting these is actually a good thing.
Okay. So
let me just show you kind of what it would look like. So, fully charged heavy attack, I can't say that enough, people don't do it. But when you're coming into combat, fully charged heavy attack. Usually you want to do an Empower, because it's just free damage, right? So if you do this right here, no, I don't know why it's not showing, but it can do 20,000 damage. Now, if you use an Empower first, so when I say Empower, you click Enter Light with your Might of the Guild. See how your staff close? It's just a big, it's just a big hit at the beginning, see? It usually does about 20,000 damage if it crits.
Yeah.
So regardless, you want to start with a fully charged heavy attack almost all the time. And then when I close the distance, I do Eruption, Flames of Oblivion, immediately bar swap. And then I do Blockade, Engulfing, this, and then I start my whips. And usually it's about, 2 to 3 whips. And then you're going to have to do Blockade, and you're going to have to do Engulfing, and then you're going to have to do Burning Embers. And then Eruption.
So just reapply all those over time ones.
It's basically 3 whips, dots. 3 whips, dots. 3 whips, dots. Now, when you add a lot of different other buffs in here, Flames of Oblivion, Trap Beast, all this stuff, you're going to have to swap a lot more. But for the basic, just getting the basic down, try your best to do Flames of Oblivion into black, Eruptions while you're closing, this, and then a couple whips. Okay, so let's just see how you do it. Let me put Drain on real quick. So let's go ahead and try to do what I just said, and I'll look at what you're doing.
Alright.
So you spell Power Potion, good. Inner Light. Now coming closer, good. So Eruption, Eruption, Oblivion. Now stop right there. Okay, so time is damage, right? As soon as you click Flames of Oblivion, don't wait for the animation. Bar swap. As soon as your hands go up, bar swap. Look at that. See how fast that was?
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
that. So the last action on your back bar needs to immediately bar swap. So in your mind, you have to constantly tell yourself, what's my last action before I bar swap? And then tell your brain, boom, immediately bar swap to save time. So try the start again.
All right.
Fully charged spell. Yep. Fully charged. Eruption. Oblivion. Oh,
No, I
nope.
didn't do it.
It's okay. Take your time. Calm down. Now, bar swap. Okay. There we go. There. Now, back up real quick. So what you're doing is a common mistake, and that is not weaving, animation canceling. So when you cast an ability, you have to tell your brain to light attack before you do anything. Light attack. See this little thing? And some people do heavy attacks where there's 2 balls. But light attack ability. Light attack ability. Light attack ability. That's going to generate ultimate, and it's going to be very important to get your resources back in the way the game goes today. So just try the rotation slowly, but light attack. Don't do the back bar, just the basic 3 buffs. Now hold on, see, you're not light attacking. See? So just come up closer, come up closer. So light attack, blockade. Light attack, engulfing. Nope, light attack before. You have to tell your brain, light attack before, light attack before. Every action. Light attack ability. There. Now, tighten that time up to animation cancel. So when you're doing this right now, light attack ability. The way to speed it up is to sync it so your light attack and your ability are almost going off simultaneously, like a heartbeat. Da-thump, da-thump, da-thump. So like this. See how my character did 2 things at once?
Yeah.
That's animation canceling. That's free damage. You want to sync them. No. Light attack first, not after.
Oh,
first, not after. Now faster.
that?
Yes, faster though. There. See how your character flinched a little bit?
Yeah.
Yes. Now, yes, that. But you're doing that for every single action. So not just blockade, but as soon as you got done with blockade, what's the next thing you're going to do?
Light attack. And then...
Right. Yes, and then you... Exactly. So it's light attack ability, light attack ability. And what people don't understand when they start that... There. That's exactly it.
Is that it?
Yeah. Now you
Yay.
want to tighten it up and get a little faster. And you can do block canceling. You can do all this stuff. But you want to see your little fireball before you do... Now see, you're getting back into old habits. There. Light attack. Yep. Light attack ability. Light attack. There. Light attack. There. Light attack. First. So it takes a lot of practice, right?
Yeah. Because, like, the rhythm is really hard to... Like, it kind of goes out of rhythm again.
Right. And remember, each animation is different. So if I do blockade, right, watch how long this is. Ugh, it just takes forever, right? Engulfing flame, same thing. Now you'll see good players, what they do is they block cancel. That's another button to throw in the mix, so don't worry about that right now. But see how I do that so fast?
Yeah.
I'm actually, you would actually hit your light attack, then your ability, then block, then light attack. Don't worry about that now, but that's down the road. There you go. See, you actually did it right there. Don't worry. Don't try to replicate that all the time because it's hard.
Yeah.
So let's just practice this until you run out of magic. Blockade, light attack, blockade, light attack, engulfing, light attack, embers. Just keep. Yeah, there you go. Good. Yep, embers. You gotta be closer for embers. There you go. So it's like a heartbeat. Dup. Light attack, but light attack ability. There you go. Good. So I'm telling you right now, if you would do just this, you would improve dramatically DPS wise from what you walked in and was able to do. See, look how much smoother that is. That looks like a real rotation, don't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Right,
now,
actually.
yeah, it's not that hard unless someone tells you the right way. Believe it or not, I actually learned this without Gil. Okay. So now what we're going to do is, do you have buff timers or a way to see your buffs or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is you're going to recognize your shortest buff duration. Typically it's going to be blockade, right? It's 8 seconds. So if we cast blockade first, And then we cast Engulfing, that's 10, I think, and that's 9 or 11. And now what we're doing is we're watching where our buffs are, the right-hand side of my screen, until one needs to be reapplied. And what you're doing in that time is essentially whipping. So it'll look like this. And you're still going to maintain your discipline with this. So whip, light attack, whip, light attack. And then what I do is, as it's nearing 1 second, almost then is when I mentally, the clock's ticking, I need to recast my buffs. So a misconception of what people do is they will actually recast their buffs regardless of the duration. You actually want to be able to get these, I don't know how to say this right, but Engulfing's going to last a little bit longer. So don't mindlessly cast those 3 things back to back to back. Look at the buffs. If you can get one more whip in and let your burning embers tick 1 more second long till it's almost exactly the very final duration, that will reward you with more DPS. So essentially, don't mindlessly just recast those 3 things back to back to back. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So let me show you. So here. Okay, now I'm ticking. So I got 5 seconds left on my Blockade, but I got 6 seconds left on my Engulfing. So what I do is Engulfing, 1 whip, then Engulfing, 1 whip, then Burning Embers. You see what I'm trying to tell you?
Yeah.
So the difference is you don't mindlessly recast those buffs. You're trying to fit every whip in as best you can before it becomes inoperable to do so.
Yeah. Okay.
Now let's see how look at his animations. So
Yeah.
you see how like
so smooth. Yeah.
right. Now see how look how he bar swapped Engulfing. You couldn't even see it. Like he did see that? That's like down the road, right?
Yeah.
But for right now, you're already making improvements in what you're doing. So let's try it again. So go ahead and do the rotation, but this time I want you to whip a few times in the middle. So don't worry about the back bar. Don't worry about the back bar, nothing. Yeah, so apply your buffs and then monitor them. And in between monitoring, you're whipping.
I did
Light attack. That's okay.
Yep.
There you go. Light attack. There you go. Good. Good. Now whips, right?
Oh, wait.
It's okay. Light attack. Light attack. Remember, you're getting into spam mode. Light attack. Keep constantly telling your brain. Light attack. There. Light attack whip. Light attack whip. Okay, good.
I'm doing the whip first instead of light attack. See what
I
I
know.
mean about getting out of the rhythm?
Yep, but that just comes
You
with
don't
practice.
realize you're doing it.
You're doing good.
Okay.
You're doing
light
good.
attack this. Light attack that.
There you go. Remember Blockade. So mentally what you want to do, let me just stop real quick. Mentally, you need to tell yourself this, and the ground needs to look like this when you're playing solo. The ground needs to be on fire. Primary number 1, because when you're playing on consoles, you don't have these fancy add-ons. So if the ground's not on fire, look at your buffs. You're going to start memorizing the icons, and console players have to memorize what it looks like, the actual mob burning. See that?
Yeah.
They actually have to, it's a lot harder on consoles. So you see how the 2 burns are going? So one's like, it's a lot harder on consoles, I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But for the time being, the ground needs to be on fire. So what we're going to do is 3 dots, whips in between. Remember light attack. Tell your brain, light attack. Yep, whips, light attack. Now, whips. There you go, good. And then the ground's not on fire. Perfect. See how the ground went out of fire and then you immediately replaced it? See you later, Sparty. Thanks for coming out, buddy. There you go. Good, good, good. Good.
Oops, I did it wrong. Oh.
That's okay. Now ground, yep. Recap here. When you came in, you weren't light attacking, you're just using abilities. So we're going to have a not necessarily a strict buff rotation. It's most important to have those 3 buffs up, whether you miss one timing, miss this first or this second, whatever. As long as you have those three dots on. Because remember, Burning Embers will... So now, you got light attacks, you got our buffs. Now we need to throw bar swapping in. Okay?
Yep.
So, why do we bar swap? What are we bar swapping to do? Essentially, you want to have some damage over time effects on your back bar. If you're managing your buffs appropriately and have the right damage over time effects, it's beneficial to bar swap and cast them versus not. As Gil would say, you want an action to outproduce your main spammable, if that makes sense. So casting an eruption at the time it falls off is more damage than casting a whip over its entire duration. So that's why we go back and cast it. You cast it early, you just lost efficiency. You don't maintain it, you lost efficiency. So that's why we go back to our back bar and cast things. So let's add an extra dot, which will be Oblivion. 15 seconds, okay? This will also show on your left-hand side, not your right. Or you have the little fireball for a visual effect. So what we're going to do is, while we're closing the gap with a big old heavy attack, we cast Flames, bar swap. So let's start that. Do your 3 buffs, and then this time go back and cast that. Good. Good, you replied. Okay, good. You're learning really fast. Okay, now, well, what's your Flames Oblivion at? It's back bar. Good. Okay, now, wait. Let's improve. So this is another thing you have to learn. Now, this is not going to come very easily. Okay, so what do you do when you need to reapply a buff on your back bar? The last action you take on your front bar needs to instantly bar swap. So right there, you were doing your three dots, right? And you had a chance to do 1 whip. Instead of doing a whip and letting the full thing go and then swap, why not whip and immediately swap? See that? You're saving time because you have to go back to bar swap. So bar swapping and light attacking tells the computer to stop the animation immediately. So that when we say bar swap cancel, that's what we're talking about. See that? Good. So the same thing happens on your back bar. So you're looking at your cooldown. It tells you, oh, I got 2 seconds left. So mentally you have a clock, right? I need to go back and do that. So last action, bar swap. Last action, bar swap. Immediately. So you're getting free damage, free time. Then, when you go back to actually click the Oblivion, guess what you're going to do again? Click it, and then immediately what?
Bar swap.
Yep. So you're basically doing, yeah. You see how fast that went? Now redo. Now see, 1/1000 versus a blink of an eye. See, now don't bar swap before your whole hands come down. See? There. Good. Does that make more sense?
Yeah, that's gonna take the most practice, I think.
Oh yeah, it takes a lot. I am no master at this. Believe me, I still have a lot of room to improve.
It's like that immediate, like you have to immediately think ahead and be like,
you're thinking ahead,
and then quickly bar swap.
You're thinking ahead. You're thinking ahead to. You're always looking. You don't look at your character. You look at your buffs and your debuffs, and that tells you the next action you need to take. You're looking at 4 right now, but when you get done, you're doing Eruption, Flames of Oblivion, Engulfing, Trap Beast, Blockade of Fire, Burning Embers. So it's hard to play a magic DK. So the truth of the matter is, good players don't spam their attacks a lot. Good players are truthfully using a lot more dots than they are. If you see someone on the DPS and they're doing this, you're not maintaining your dots appropriately. Because you should only be doing maybe 3 whips max before you need to reapply your buffs.
Yeah.
Okay. We all are, and I'm not a I guess I'm a pro, but I mean Gil puts me to shame in DPS. So there's always a place where we can learn and get better. And look how much you've improved already in what 30 minutes doing this. You're already animation canceling, right? So now the thing is, you have to apply this. And what happens when you start taking damage and you're gonna die? Let's talk about that, because everyone can be a DPS training dummy hero, but at the end of the day, you need to be able to survive. So the way I survive on a magic DK is a combination of 3 skills. Burning Ember is our primary dot. Once the full duration goes off or you reapply it, you're gonna get a massive burst heal. It heals you longer, the longer the effect is on it. Okay. So that's important to know, that you can always just, boom, recast it immediately. And if you sit here and just do this, it heals the shit. 11k, 20k. If you literally just do this, okay, just literally do it. So like, if you're in trouble in a dungeon, just your first no-brainer, oh crap button, literally just do this. That's it. So the second way to survive is harness magic. Harness magic does not require a target. Why is that useful? Because when you're in dungeons and stuff, there's going to be mechanics. There's going to be things you have to avoid. There's going to be times where there's no target available. Harness. So that's 6-second shield based off your max magic, why magic's so important. And then the second one for AoE, you don't have to use a skill, but deep breath, right? So AoE, it heals you off basically how many people are around, and it does damage and blows up. So it's kind of like a good damage ability that you can bar swap off of it too. Get a free heal, go back to Burning Embers.
Right.
So, how are you going to survive on a magic DK? Tell me.
Okay. So if I'm desperate, Burning Embers.
But it requires a target. Yep. But
For a single target.
Yep. And it requires a target. So if you're out and about, what are you going to use?
The light armor one. What's that called?
Cast it.
The one that has the. I don't have the morph. Annulment.
Yep.
Or. Well, annulment, and then if it's like a bunch of enemies, the AoE one, deep breath.
Ultimates. Do you understand when you should use ultimate, what you should use it for? In case don't have it execute, and it's okay. Standard of Might is the Juggernaut ultimate. Look what it does. Increases your damage, reduces damage taken. It's an absolute beast. So we don't have an execute, but we got standard. So you have to, unlike other classes, you have to stay disciplined in the execute range at 25%. You need to continue to maintain those dots. That's your main source of damage. So the only time you would really use Meteor over Standard of Might is in a case where there's a billion AoE, like 6 mobs clumped up, and you can get it back easily or something. That would be an opportunity. But until you learn those situations, really stick with Standard of Might. Stick with Standard of Might. Like I said, there is uses for that. There's use for Destro Staff. But for the main time, Standard of Might. It reduces your damage. It's going to give you a flood of resources. It's just beast. The way you're managing your sustain, on a magic DK, you're almost always on magic. Basically, the thing you're going to need to do is time Potion with Battle or Ultimate to kind of like burst your magic up. That's kind of how you sustain. And then someone needs to be running Elemental Drain or Radiant Aura. You need that magic steal. So remember we talked about why weaving is important? It's so important because this procs every 1 second. So if you're constantly doing damage, you're constantly getting free Magicka back. Free Magicka means more damage, more sustained, lasts longer. So it's not only just weaving is not only technically more damage, it's more sustained. So it's super important to constantly get that down. You're going to fuck up. You're going to screw up. It's okay. But just kind of constantly tell your brain, do I see my little, do I see that little thing in there before I do something? So a skill you need to level up if you don't have it, because you can't trust people, is the 4th ability in Destruction Staff. Thank you, Dan.
Oh, weakness to elements.
Yes, and it needs to be morphed to Elemental Drain. Because if you're pugging around, healers don't know to run this, or they don't know to run Radiant Aura, you're going to blow through your sustained. In solo, it actually is really nice because you get Major Breach, so it reduces the spell resistance. So if tanks aren't running the right morph and taunt and blah, 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 coordinated groups, this is not an issue. Pugging, it's an issue. So make sure you have that, and you can swap it in or out depending on what your group comp looks like.
Yeah.
All right. Was this helpful?
Very helpful. I've learned so much. I just feel like a noob again.
Well, we all are. All right, Gil, anything to add?
Just really discipline yourself. You'll see a lot of players running around in town just spamming abilities. It's because they're practicing. Because this takes so long. Like, Delty and I have so many hours into this game that you'd probably puke if we told you, and that's why we're good at this stuff, is because it's just practice, practice, practice. So this part is already the hardest, and you've already improved tremendously from when you walked in. So, like, feel good about that, but just know that this is not going to come over a week, over a month. This is something that takes months and months and months of mastery to perfect, and you can always get better at it. So don't ever be discouraged. Just remind yourself you're always working to get better, and even the best players have room to improve on. So never feel like you can't do it, because you can.
And last thing, comparing yourself to other players. Number one, if someone posts they have a billion DPS in a trial, fantastic. Remember that trials DPS is dependent on your group's performance. So you could be the best player, animation cancel everything, best gear, whatever. But if your trials group isn't running the appropriate buffs, you're not going to see those massive numbers. So worry about your DPS, your rotation. If you're maintaining the buffs and stuff like that, your DPS will come. Trust me, it'll get there. So work on that. And then get a training dummy or come here. You can use this one over as much as you want. Practice, 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 practice. All right?
Yeah.
All right, Gil.